You ever have those huge, beautiful dreams for a garden, but then reality, your wallet and your schedule, they have other ideas? Yeah, we all know that struggle. So, how do we actually make those big garden dreams happen without going broke or running out of steam? Let's get into it.
Oh, man, this quote, it just hits home, doesn't it? It is that exact feeling of wanting everything, the perfect finished garden like yesterday. But it's also about that self-control, that discipline to pull back on the reins and build that dream one piece at a time. And that brings us right to the heart of the problem, the gardener's dilemma. How in the world do you take that amazing vision you've got in your head and turn it into a real world plan for this season, one that won't leave you feeling totally overwhelmed and, broke? That's the puzzle we're going to solve today. Okay, so the secret is all about separating the dream list from the get it done this year list. I mean, it's so easy to picture it all: strawberry patches, rows of carrots and potatoes, flowers everywhere. But the smart play? It's to focus. Nail down a few strategic goals, like expanding the berry patch that's already there and building 2 new beds. This isn't about giving up on the dream. It's about building it right, piece by piece. A great garden plan doesn't just appear out of thin air one season. It actually grows on top of the successes from last year. So before we look ahead, let's take a quick look back at the super important groundwork that was laid in year one. So in year one, the focus was just plain smart. First step, claim the space. Get rid of the grass, get the mulch down. Then invest in the future with those long-term perennials, your blueberries and raspberries. I mean, those are the anchors of the whole garden. On top of that, there were a few wins with annuals like tomatoes, and even some experiments, just to see what works. This wasn't about trying to do everything at once, it was about doing the right things first. Honestly, you should think of year one as a pure investment. By focusing everything on getting those perennial bushes, the ones that come back every single year, strong and healthy, this gardener basically guaranteed future success. Now, the coming years are way more about harvesting and enjoying, not just building from scratch. That is the definition of playing the long game. So let's jump ahead to the blueprint for year two and see exactly how this plan builds on that solid foundation. This is where the strategy for smart, totally manageable expansion really starts to shine. The big idea for this year is something called strategic separation. Now, it sounds kind of fancy, but it's a really simple, powerful concept. Just in case you're new to this, your perennials come back every year, while annuals, well, they're a one-season deal. So by putting all your long-haul perennials in one spot and your one-season annuals in another, you make everything, we're talking maintenance, planning, even just watering, so much easier. This whole strategy really breaks down into 3 super clear steps. First, you double down on those perennials, expand the berry patch, add some asparagus. Second, create a brand new dedicated space for annuals with some DIY beds. And finally, and this is key, make it all manageable by automating the watering with a simple drip system. It's focused, it's practical, and it's totally doable. So what's going in those new beds? Only the essentials. Tomatoes, because they're a family favorite. Green beans are the new experiment for the year, and 2 different kinds of cucumbers for different uses. You see how every single choice is intentional? It's all based on what the family loves and practical goals, not just planting stuff for the sake of planting stuff. Right. Of course, none of this happens for free. So let's follow the money and see exactly how those limited funds are being spent to get the biggest bang for the buck. Okay, I want you to take a second and guess. When you're building a new garden bed from scratch, what do you think is the single biggest cost? Is it the plants, the wood for the box, the tools? The answer, well, it might surprise you. It's the soil. Yup. It is so easy to get carried away with all the cool plants you can buy, but the true foundation of a healthy garden, that good, rich soil, that's where most of your money is going to go. And it is the one thing you absolutely cannot cheap out on. Okay, so here's how it breaks down. Soil is the number one expense, no question. The irrigation system, that's about a $50 investment in making your life easier. Soil acidifier, a small but necessary cost. But the real genius move here, the wood for the planter box cost $0. By using a reclaimed pallet, this gardener saved a whole bunch of money that could go right back into the most important thing, the soil. So what does this all really add up to? It's about a mindset shift. It's about seeing your garden not as a project you have to finish, but as a journey that you're on. This quote just nails it perfectly. Slowly build into it. That approach is the ultimate cure for feeling overwhelmed. And it's the best insurance policy against wasting money on things you don't have the time or energy to finish. It's all about making sustainable progress.
So it all comes down to adopting this kind of mindset. Start small, build it up season by season, prioritize light crazy so you don't get buried, and embrace the fact that you're learning as you go. You're gonna make mistakes, it's fine. But most important of all, you have to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint.
And that really leaves us with just one final thought. Whether you're building a garden, learning a new skill, starting a business, whatever it is, the principle is exactly the same. It is always a marathon. So the only question that really matters is, what's your first step?